Okay. Welcome here, Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week 2020. We are in Transparency House. We are very honored to have Frank Wouters with us, Director of the EU GCC Clean Energy Technology Network. That's a long word for a huge amount of activities that is being planned. Mr. Frank is here for a long time in the UAE and the Middle East. You know the region quite well. And you've also always been deeply involved in the renewable energy and with ideas of the past and the future. But first, maybe I can ask you a little bit more about the network, about the Clean Technology Network. What do you aim to achieve as European Union, I suppose, as the name says?
Yeah, the network was established 10 years ago, and it's an initiative born out of the political engagement between Europe and the Gulf. So it is actually a political network. So we have two parents, the European Commission on the one hand, and the Secretary General of the GCC on the other hand. And the main aim is to foster partnerships, to build upon existing partnerships, but to also look at the present and the future in the field of clean energy technologies between Europe and the Gulf.
Mm-hmm. And how does it work for individual companies? Because we have all kinds of country initiatives. But if you're a European company, can you become a member of this platform? Do you have to be a European?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's a very open and inclusive platform. Membership is actually free because we get financial support from the European Commission, and we at the moment have more than 3,500 members. So please reach out, send us an email, or go to the website, and we'll enlist you, and then you're a part of the flow of information.
Yeah. So if you receive 3,500 personal emails a day, you will know what you have to do managing this cluster. But I'm impressed with the power and the reach of these technologies. So if you look ahead now from 2020, a new decade we start, are there certain themes that you think we really have to push forward together to create some step changes in sustainability?
Yeah, so I mean, part of what has been a dramatic change in the last 10 years, especially if you're looking at energy, especially if you're looking at electricity, then, because I've been here 10 years and I have been leading renewable energy projects for that period of time. In 2010, I built the first large-scale solar energy plant in the United Arab Emirates, yeah. and that was by some margin the most expensive power in the energy mix that we had at the time. But at the same time, when we initiated that project, there was another project that looked about equally expensive as the other one. That got delayed for political reasons to some extent, but it was eventually built, and two things happened. First of all, it turned out to be a world record low price for solar electricity. It was 2.34 cents per kilowatt hours. And it also turned out to be much bigger than we planned because of the price competitiveness. It's 1.3 gigawatts, 1,300 megawatts of solar PV in the desert of Abu Dhabi, and that is one of the largest solar energy plants in the world, and also one of the cheapest. And this is within a 10-year period. So you go from the most expensive power to the cheapest power, which changes everything.
So you have been in the middle of that, because 2009, the first World Future Energy Summit that we both experienced, you had a role at IRENA, the leadership of IRENA that time?
In 2009, I was with Masdar. I was Director of Clean Energy at Masdar.
Yeah.
In 2012, I was appointed Deputy Director General of IRENA.
Okay, thank you. So you've been in the middle of this development of, you mentioned pricing and solar.
Yeah.
So what happened? How could this quite dramatic change in the market happen? What was key?
Well, in the end, so there's a few things. First of all, Germany initiated the development of solar by having a very supportive scheme that enabled people to make that investment. And that opportunity was then taken up mostly by the Chinese, who've built massive factories to produce solar cells at ever lower cost. Yeah. And they fully industrialized the production, managed the supply chain, and right now in most places actually solar, but also wind are the cheapest form of electricity compared to anything else.
Yeah, this has been an amazing development. If you look from now to the future, maybe Europe has announced a Green Deal. Maybe some other topic, maybe later technology, hydrogen technology, I think of, but it's Green Deal. How do you see that being here as managing the EU GCC network? You're also based here. How do you look with this view to the European?
Yeah, so we had, I had dinner with the new European Energy Commissioner, Kadri Simpson, last night, and she explained to us some elements of the Green Deal. And an important aspect, there's a few things to consider. One is that Europe wants to lead. Climate change is something that is affecting us all, and instead of denying it or not doing anything about it, Europe sees this as an opportunity to lead and then also be a world market leader in, for example, the manufacture of technologies. So we talked about large-scale battery manufacturing, but also very interesting new technologies such as the manufacturing of green hydrogen, where you take low-cost renewable electricity, which is available right now, and you turn that into hydrogen, which is a completely carbon-free energy cycle. And then if you look at the relationship between Europe and the Gulf, as I said before, the Gulf has the lowest cost, not only fossil fuels in the world, but also renewable energy. So they're blessed in a multiple of ways, and this provides an interesting opportunity for an energy relationship between Europe and the Gulf in the future. And one of the things that that people are considering now in a very serious way is, for example, synthetic fuels. Aviation is very difficult to do with electricity or even with hydrogen. Big planes that we have, and that is a growing sector, still rely on complex aromatic hydrocarbons to run the jet engines on. But the good thing is that you can actually make those using sunshine, water, air, and that's the amazing new innovation that we can see.
Is this the technology that you have to capture the CO2 from the air?
That is one of the opportunities. So indeed, if you're talking about a synthetic hydrocarbon, then you need the CO2. So you capture that from a process. You make the hydrogen from sunshine, water, and potentially wind. One of the elements of this region is that they're very well experienced. They have the intellectual and physical infrastructure to make those kinds of fuels at scale. They have all the ingredients. They have the land, they have the companies that can actually do that, and they have the low-cost renewable electricity, which is something that Europe is probably going to look towards, and that could be a very exciting part of the new relationship between Europe and the Gulf in the field of energy.
It's very exciting to hear these developments. It strikes me the level of governmental, of large corporations and smaller companies that can play a role, and so the opportunity for much stronger bonds than ever on the energy field between greening Europe, greening the Gulf, greening the world.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your contribution.
You're welcome.
You have been a seasoned professional in this region. You have experienced it inside out. So we are thankful to have you as the Managing Director of the EU GCC Clean Energy Technology Network with us today in the Transparency House.
Thank you.